us instead.
Yeah.
There we go. What a shame we couldn't go live, Marcel. I know. I've never been locked out of Facebook before.
We cannot go live. Well, we are alive. So
we are alive. Oh, that's so, you know, if I could just touch you through this screen and be like, a person, a real, you're really human.
We are alive. We are alive.
And you are so alive, my friend. You know, from what I've seen of you, of course, I first saw you on the wonderful film, The Blueprint. If anybody watching this has not yet seen The Blueprint, you have to go to iconic.com, and that is ICKONIC, as in David Icke, Onic. Forget the David part, just iconic.com. And you can get a 7-day free trial in which you can watch all the amazing films and series on there. And my very dear long-term friend and soul sister, Christiane Van Wyk, made an incredible film, along with Karen, made an incredible film called The Blueprint. And you were in it. And that was the first time I saw you. And you were in the eco community, in the ice bath, and giving Chrissy some cool lessons on life. And your energy really hit me in that film. You had so much life, so much vitality, and you kind of just popped out. That whole film was amazing, I have to say. And you're right at the end, and I was just like, what a brilliant way to wrap up that whole story. It was absolutely fantastic. So Marcel, I'm super excited to have you back again on Self-Love Talks, and it's wonderful to see you. Definitely looking alive.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the beautiful compliments. Now, because it is about self-love, I'll take them fully in.
Right, and exactly. And what is more important than life and vitality? And what's most important in life is how we love, right? And how we love ourselves and how we love one another, because love is life and life is love. To me, they're the same energy. It's the same frequency of that creative source. You know, creative source and unconditional love, they're one and the same thing, at least for me anyway. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I see it as the same thing. At the same time, we are the life force itself. We are the life force expressing ourselves in everyone, and everybody. So there's only one thing you can do, is love yourself. That means loving the life force, which is coming in and expressing itself through us, through this medium of your body. So that's the beautiful thing. That's the beauty of life. So loving yourself is loving life in its totality. So that's beauty. Absolutely.
That is so powerful and simple, that message. Because a lot of people think that self-love is about an ego thing, but we're not our ego, are we? I mean, we have an ego, and it's important when you're a human being to have one. It's part of who we are. But yeah, that life itself, to love yourself means to love life. And you know reason why I've just been kicked off Facebook, and we're not live right now on there, is because I shared some things today and yesterday that were very, very, very not pro-life, definitely not pro-life. And there's some people in the world who are not really promoting good health, good vibrations, love, and life. In fact, they've got quite an intense and very powerful hypnosis, it seems, over people right now, to kind of go against that. And I'm not going to start getting into names and things, but we all know what's going on. And yeah, so that's why that's why we're not live. But this is such an important topic to come and contrast all of that negative stuff that's not nice, that I think personally we should be aware of, because it's like you can't heal something unless you take all the band-aids off and all the covers and you actually see the wound. To be able to heal something, you have to see what you're trying to heal. And if it's all covered up and then we kind of just go, let's just cover it up and put something else on top, you're never, how can you really change the world? How can you really create this new earth and live in a place of unconditional love and being true to life if you're ignoring what's going on in the wound, what's causing that wound?
Yeah, absolutely. I think healing yourself is seeing the healing is seeing everything as a whole. That is the real healing. And if you see it as divided, and that was until now, that is the change we all are making, living from the division, from the living from the mind, going back to the heart, living from the whole, and seeing this unity, because that's the fact. It's that's the real science that we are whole. Everything is interdependent and interconnected. So there is no division. It's just an illusion of the mind, and it's a way to work with things. But it's at the same time we are all of life. We are all these expressions. We are all these beautiful sense and orders and expressions and forms. And seeing ourselves in every form is respecting ourselves in our own life as it is, and that's the beauty. And not living as a division anymore. So it's good to see it. That's not true, and seeing it as a whole. That is the real healing, because the healing is not seeing it as a division. We don't have to fight each other. We have to see that we are interconnected, that we are interdependent, that we are a whole. And then when there we can respect each other and live from this whole, from this unity, and making new synergies, working together, making new creations, co-creating in the beautiful forms to give even more respect and more abundance to this enormous forms we are expressing all the time. Life is expressing itself in all these forms and playing with each other. That's the real beauty of life itself, co-creating and synergy and making new forms. So for me, seeing it as a whole is now important, because that's the real vision. The vision is not from the head, not from division, but from the vision is living from the heart instead of living from the mind. So it's time to come together and seeing that we are already a communion. We are living in communion. We are living from this whole. So and feeling this, not only talking about it, not from the head, because lots of people can talk about it in very beautiful, great ways, but really feeling and experiencing this part, because that's who we really are. That is where we recognize each other, because in that deepest part we are all the same. We feel all the same. We feel we are love. We are expressing love, and we want to feel love, and we want to invite love, to feel love from everybody, because that's who we are. There we recognize what you are and who you are.
That's so beautiful. I love what you said there. I mean, everything you said. And then near the beginning of that, you said, this is the real science. The oneness,
Yeah,
the interconnectivity, the wholeness. That's the real science. I love that
that
you
is
said
true. It's a scientific fact. So more and
that.
more are telling you
It's
that
funny,
the rest
isn't
is
it?
ridiculous.
Huh? Sorry, what did you say?
The rest is ridiculous, because we lived in this idiocy. Becoming now more clear and clear. The real science is unity. It's the truth. That's what we all say. And why don't we live then from this unity? It's time to connect and to see it as the real only truth. And coming back to this real experience, they want to hold us back from this real science, the real science we all know. Instead of this hypnosis, you were talking about hypnosis. They want to keep you dependent, but we are all independent, because we are all autonomous in our own way. And we have got all this life force expressing ourselves in these beautiful forms, as you, as me, but at the same time from the same life force, and expressing ourselves in this all these beautiful forms. That's the beauty. And then we can come together, making beautiful things together in synergy, in joy, in freedom, and from autonomy.
Marcel, tell us how. So, just learning a little bit about you. You started early in life, didn't you? Learning about vitality and life force and breath and all the wonderful things that you do now.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you come to understand and know what you do now? And also, by the way, while I remember this, you said it a second ago. I was thinking about this yesterday, knowing that we were going to have this talk, and I was thinking about how many people who are out there sharing a message how a good message, a powerful message of healing and transformation and all these good things, how many people are actually walking the talk and actually doing it? Because it's one thing to speak and to teach somebody and then go home and not do it yourself. There are a lot of people like that, and it's easy to be one of these people. And then how many people are actually living what they share? And I know that you do that. Like, you're living evidence of a man who walks his talk and lives his truth. From what I can tell, from what I can see, and what I get from you. And I just really want to honor you and respect you for that.
Oh, thank you very much for your respect and your honor. And I think, like everybody, you learn every day, every second, every moment. But at the same time, my basis is more and more in this, from this unity, living from the heart. And my journey became like, when I was like 13, 14, I was already busy with where am I, what am I doing here, what is the real me, etc., etc. And at that time, busy with my brothers, especially Ruud and Wim Hof, Iceman, Ruud Hof. But nobody knew and knows that we did a lot, like 20, 25 years, training together, swimming in the water, doing breathing exercises, doing yoga, doing all kinds of extreme things. Not as a dogma, but just trying out your body and mind, how far you can go, what you can experience with, and what works. Not about like a philosophy, but what works. What things are the things, experiences give you good health, clarity, freedom, joy, and playing music, singing all the times with mantras. Sometimes we went to Spain and we sang like 8 or 10 hours. And just singing mantras and coming in this trance, etc. So we were just trying out and trying out and trying out, and yeah, all we kept the things that worked for us. When we felt okay, where we felt at ease, where we felt energetic, in peace, and yeah, glorious, and with a lot of laughter and a lot of love. So it's not about the dogma, how is it, and what is love as a dogma, as a philosophy. Where do you feel this unity? Where do you feel really connected with other people and everything around you? Where comes the inner nature and outer nature together? And that's the thing we all want. We want to experience the feeling, the real thing, instead of the philosophy, because there are a lot of books, a lot of people talking about how it is and how, and a lot of spirituality, but what the real spirituality is very simple in a way. Just like a child, it must be very clear and very simple, and there is a natural connection. And coming back to this natural connection, I think that's the purpose. The purpose is who we are, and just uncovering all the bullshit we learned and all the hypnosis and all the indoctrination and all the bullshit. If we let that go, then it becomes easy and clear who we are and what we are. And there is this self-love, that means the love for life itself. That's the real thing. And that's, I think, this morning I woke up, I was talking to Anita with my partner. And then we talked about this thing. What do we want to bring to the world? And I was talking about it's kind of an entity, kind of a child. You must see what you bring to the world, a child. The child is the love we are. That's always have been. It has to be very clear. It's not another company, but it's really that, and it makes very clear what you bring to the people, the message. So, and it's what we already are. It's the most simple thing, and at the same time, the most complicated for the mind. But the mind makes things complicated. The heart makes it very simple. And I think we have to go back to the simplicity, where we connect, where we recognize each other in a very simple, and then everything is clear. All the politicians, all the bullshit, it's all about, it's also unclear because this clarity. We want to share naturally. We want to make beautiful things together naturally. We want to create naturally. We want to eat good food and be in good health naturally. It's very natural to be that way and to come back to this natural being.
I love it. You said the outer nature and the inner nature coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obvious. It's so obvious. It so makes sense, but it sounds so profound when you say it. It's like, yeah, because it's been a long time since people have had their inner nature and their outer nature really meeting. And I wonder if ever humanity as a whole, or maybe as a majority even, has ever really understood their true inner nature and been able to meet their inner nature and match it with their outer nature. And so you talked about, once you just clean off all the conditioning and all the programming and all the layers and all the bullshit and all the blah, the indoctrination and the whole, all of it, then everything is simple, completely. But for a lot of people, they're like, but how do we do that? And for a lot of people, you don't even see how up to here in
Yeah.
conditioning and programming and bullshit that you are,
Yeah.
because you don't know anything else, because that's what we were born into, or we were conditioned from such a young age. So you don't even see how deeply in it you are.
Yeah.
So for you, how do you clear all of that stuff so that you're in your pristine nature?
Yeah, what you said, we are indoctrinated from childhood on. We are hypnotized from childhood on. So it's very difficult to see back to this simplicity. But we all know the simpleness from childhood. We know how to play, to be simple, to just do what you feel and try out. All these simple things we know deep in ourselves. And this indoctrination slowly filled our lives slowly more and more and more. And if you are in this state from the head, then it's difficult to see what is your real nature. But we all have got once in a while these insights where you really feel that's me. There I connect really with my real heart, my feeling, where that's the real me, instead of all the ideas you have to be, how you have to be, how you have to behave, how you have to dress, whatever. All these bullshit things, what you need to have to be happy, all these conditional things, going back to this unconditional love, unconditional being. How do you do that? You have to change in a way your state of mind, your state of awareness. You cannot figure it out from the state we are in already. So you have to relax in a way and go deeper and go beyond this mind shadow, mind bullshit, mind talk, this monkey mind, they say, or whatever that they call it. And then if we come back to this real feeling, and once in a while we've got this insight, there but you can create circumstances by doing breathing, going into the cold, by meditating, whatever, Japanese tea drinking. There are ways to go back to this inner feeling where and then create the circumstances where you can recognize yourself again as that's the real me. That is the love for yourself, for life itself, for love itself, from where you can create naturally, because that's the natural way. Life is creating in all these forms, every second, every moment. It's an ongoing thing. We are this change. So loving this change all the time and seeing it, and then you cannot hold to it to any form anymore. Then you can see and relax into this change and go with the flow, because the flow, that is life itself. Life is an ongoing flow, an ongoing change. That's the beauty of life. Loving this flow, loving this life, loving this ongoing creation. That's who we really are. Then we don't hold on to anything anymore, because it's not possible. Life is always changing. You cannot hold on to anything. Yeah, just for a while you think, but at a certain moment, a certain time, you have to let it go, because it changes all the time. And that's the beauty. And at the same time, for the mind, the most difficult thing, because the mind wants to keep it in the same place, keep it clear and hold on to it. But life is not, life is bigger than the mind. So to give yourself over to this flow, to this natural thing, this natural change, is only possible with love, because love doesn't hold on to anything.
No, it doesn't.
So that's the thing. Real self-love is loving life. And that's what you said in the beginning. That's what I feel and say also. life is love and love life. It's the same thing.
Mm.
And loving life itself, and living life and living love. That's the thing why we are here, and that's the thing which has to be now awakened in everybody, and not in some bodies, but everybody.
Everybody. You know, it's brilliant you're talking about change. I saw a meme earlier, and on the top half of the picture, there's a guy asking a crowd of people, so who wants change? And everybody's got their hand up, right? Everybody, I want change. And then the picture underneath is like, so who wants to change? No hands up. It's typical, right? That we all want change, but
Yeah.
having to be in, and that's what I think people are finding super hard lately, is that everything's changed since last year. Like it was all the same up until last year, last March, and then suddenly everything's changed. And people are freaking out because of the change. I can't go to my normal work. I can't go to my normal school. I can't go to do what I always used to do. It's too much change. And people are freaking out, like left, right, and center, because maybe we've just been boxed into some false paradigm and just told, you know, like a hypnosis, like a repetition, right? Now it's time to feed, here's the bell, now it's time to sleep. So nothing changes, and we're kind of hypnotized into this, what we think is real life.
That is one of the biggest conditionings, that our safety is in staying the same and holding on to the same things. That the safety is there in certain, having a certain amount of like a car and a house and whatever,
money and the reliability of the job.
Yeah, but there is no safety, because it's not on holding, because it changes. Yeah, for a certain time it looks like it's the same. Then the mind becomes like a doll. It's going to sleep. It's kind of comfort zone, but there is no safety in it. The real safety is only in love, because everything changes. The only thing that doesn't change is change itself. And that is life itself. And life itself is love itself. So it's.
I just had this thought then. I just had this thought when you were saying that, like, we wouldn't put a tree in a box and expect it to thrive. The tree, if you put it into a box, it would try and grow, I imagine, out of the box and then reach the edge. And then if it can't grow anymore, it would start to decay. And so humanity has been in a box for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the box of our own mind and our own limited perceptions and thinking of who we are and what this life is about. And then also the boxes that we live in, but also the boxes of those conditionings, like do this every day, don't reach too high, you know, that whole thing. And it's like, we wouldn't do that to anything in nature, because we would kill it. And yet we kind of naively or ignorantly or blindly put ourselves in those boxes and continue to live in them and go, this is normal. And anybody saying, no, guys, life over here, look, freedom, they're like, you're crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is also a way of a little group of people to keep us dependent, because they don't want us to be autonomous, because then we cannot be manipulated anymore. So at the same time, keep us in the same illusion of not, we are dependent from certain kind of people, and then you cannot grow. But it goes against our nature, because we feel at a certain moment we are not dependent. It's just an illusion. So to become independent again, autonomous, and seeing our abundance in everything, I think that's the real thing we have to go to. And I forgot about the topic because now I'm taking a side way. But what were you talking about?
What I was going to ask you as well, I wanted to kind of go back to the ice thing. Like, where was it that you grew up and was jumping around in ice water?
Yeah, I grew up like this crazy brothers, and especially also Wim, the Iceman.
What, you've got other brothers?
I've got 6 brothers and 2 sisters.
6 brothers.
Yeah, 31 children together already. I think Wim has the most.
That's a big family. That's a big table at Christmas. So were all of your brothers and sisters, were you all the same? Like, where was it that you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in the south of Holland. It's called Limburg, but it's the south of Holland. And there, from my age, I was like 13. I became accustomed to the cold and then I went from the south of Holland always to Amsterdam, where I was living with another brother. He's got a twin brother, and Ruud, another brother, and we went mostly with three: Wim and Ruud and me. Yeah, we jumped into the water and we became we were like Indians running around in the cold and then and then jump into the water. So that's the way it began, jumping in the cold
You just
water.
did it for fun. You're just mucking around doing it for fun.
Yeah, you're just having fun, making music, jumping in the water, doing yoga, doing all these extremes, just trying out and feeling very healthy and strong and powerful, and slowly become more and more. And tried out more with the breathing exercises, trying out with the yoga, trying out, and so it slowly became like later, and now it's worldwide, like the Wim Hof method. And yeah, I was doing my workshops also. I called it a little different, but mostly was also part of the Wim Hof method, but also learned some things myself, playing with attention, using hypnosis, using heart meditations. But bringing all these things together finally made the thing I'm doing now together with Anitja. But a very important part is also this Wim Hof method, which I learned from Wim and together with Wim, and by playing out and trying out together. So it became naturally finding out what works. And now it's kind of method which is worldwide taught, and even like top medical people, they're really how do you say it, flabbergasted because of the positive effects of the cold and of the breathing, and they don't know because they didn't try out so extreme physically. And now they see more and more, and especially now we're dealing with all this corona, how do you say it? This corona,
whatever it is.
fantasy.
Story. It's a story.
Corona story. I don't say I do not say there is no corona disease like how do you say it? I see it as a flu, exactly the same. We can have maybe there is a virus, but the viruses have been there all the time. And I think the best way to fight a virus is to make yourself stronger. And the best way to make yourself stronger is using these breathing exercises, using this cold, because it's nature. And because of the challenge, we awaken our senses, we awaken this inner fire, we awaken this inner power in ourselves by using breathing exercises, using the cold. At the same time, playing with our mind, getting more focused, getting more attention. So we become very clear in our focus. So that's the best way to be prepared against all kinds of viruses, if it is corona or whatever virus. That's the power we have. It's this innate power, awakening this innate power. That is the thing we are doing, we are still doing, but now at the same time, this awakening of our autonomy in all kinds of ways, not only physically, but also mentally and spiritually, because we are this life. Spirituality is for me seeing yourself as this life, or seeing this totality, seeing that we are whole and always have been, and getting out of this illusion of being separate, this illusion and this hypnosis we have been all these times, and the way they are indoctrinating us already for decades or hundreds of years. We have to step out now, finally coming back to ourselves and recognizing and remembering each other. We are a member of life itself, a member of Earth itself. We are Earth itself. We are love itself, and that's the awakening which is happening now. We have to awaken each other and remember each other that we are autonomous, and that best way to do it is to be yourself, having this self-love and seeing yourself as this power, as this life force. And by awakening yourself, you can awaken somebody else. As an example, the best example is to do it yourself. Then you will awaken naturally the other.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. I was just imagining that if you and your brothers and all the, you guys that were just running around playing in the ice, if we could just like get everybody out in the cold and be like, let's just jump, you know. I just imagined you guys rounding everybody up and having like thousands of people just go, let's just jump, and everybody like, and break out of the boxes, break out of all the constraints and everything, and just jump in the cold water and everybody feel better.
Yeah, just kind of waking up, because it breaks, the cold is so strong, it breaks of being in your mind. So it's like a waking up. It's a real waking up. It's not the only way, but it's a good way to come back into your body fully and totally, to awaken with all the senses. So it just is a possibility, because we are so full in our minds. We have been so conditioned all these hundreds of years, thousands of years even. So to get out of this conditioning, it takes something more than only talking about it, because it's more than we stay in this intellectual domain. We have to get out of this intellectual domain, coming back into our body. And then the breathing is very powerful. The cold is very powerful. Doing these extremes, which we did, just like this simple exercise, going to the extreme, then you are on a certain point, you have to give up with your mind. Then you have to go on with your will, and then you come in another state of mind, a heightened state of mind. It's not about how long you can do something, but it's about getting out of your mind and getting back in your body, and getting back in your gut, and getting back in your heart.
Yeah, and back in your senses, your right senses.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about breathing as well, because I know that through my life journey, I discovered, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the first one to discover this, of course not, but because I have this ability to see energy and see almost through what I see through people's bodies, and I can see what's going on mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually inside a person's body and all these energy layers. So I would watch, when I had a client and I was reading them, I would watch how they were breathing and what was happening, where their attention was, and what their attention was placed upon, and how they were breathing, and how those three things interacted. Their ability to have attention, their consciousness, the thing they were focusing on, and their breath. And I noticed that people could, without being conscious of their breath, sort of use their breath to almost reinforce painful thoughts or feelings into their mind and body, and reinforce, and they would without being consciously reinforce using the breath. And so then I noticed, and I would start to teach people, because I was watching what was happening so I could kind of guide it, you know. And so then I was able to help people put their focus somewhere else on the breath and notice what was happening in their own body as they were breathing, and just begin to plug their awareness in to actually in here and not just up here. And I noticed that the kind of breath that that supported better than any other thing was total surrender to being breathed, like no control, no effort, like nothing, just, and it was through the mouth actually.
Yeah, beautiful.
So, right, so you receive in, it was just like being the unconditional receiver of breath, but being focused on, conscious on it, and then following the breath as if the breath is the leader, the guide of life, which of course it is, right? Which, what knows more about life on this planet than breath itself? Like everything breathes. So it's also logical, isn't it, Marcel, that if you want to understand about life, go to where the life is, whether it's out in nature or coming into your body with the breath. So what happened for you? How did you notice? How did you come to discover breath work? And because I know you talk about surrender a lot as well.
Yeah, it's interesting, because breath, inspiration, it's come from the Latin word inspiration, inspire, getting the breath in. That's inspiration, getting the breath in. So that's getting the life force in. How I learned it from very playfully with my brothers, especially Wim, who was talking about these yoga breaths. We did all kinds of breath, but also trying out. Sometimes making a tone like for a minute, and just trying out and seeing how it felt. So there was no dogma about and all kinds of breathing we tried out and seeing what worked. And now, in a kind of way, this 2 or 3 kinds of breath we are using for activating the thalamus and the hypothalamus. How do you say it?
I don't know, activating.
Yeah, one for activation and one for relaxation.
Right.
In Dutch I know. In English it comes up later. We'll see.
Say it in Dutch, and maybe somebody will understand you.
Wait now. I'm not getting even the Dutch word. It comes later. But one is for activation, and one is for deactivation, relaxation. So you got 2 extreme breaths. To get yourself an activation, thalamus and hypothalamus, I think. No, it doesn't come even in English and in Dutch. It doesn't come up now.
Hypothalamus.
I think so. The one is for activation, one is for relaxation.
Yeah.
But they're the 2 most important breaths you can use, and you've got all kinds of different breaths too. But the concentrated form is getting a lot of oxygen in. Then it goes to the mitochondria, on a cellular level, the mitochondria, they're the energy suppliers of the cells, and if you've got a lot of oxygen to the energy suppliers, you get more focus, more energy. You can use it whatever you want to. So you become more clear. So using this breath for in this way, it's an easy way to get more energy. And I felt in the last year, I was doing a little more breathing than normal, and you got this breatharians. I felt already, oh, you do just a little more than I normally do. Then I felt, oh, now this energy, you don't need anything anymore. You don't need food. So there is the feeling. You can come, if you find out, if you tune in, you can go to that point where you feel, no, and now I've got the energy only from the breath. You don't need food, etc. anymore. I felt I was beginning totally on an empty stomach, but I did just a little more than normal because I want to feel and tune into these breatharians. How does it work? How do they get their feeling? Then I felt, okay, now I feel more energy than before. I feel if I keep on doing this, I don't need food anymore. So it's all possible. It's getting the energy in. But we were talking about, how do you find out this breath? I was doing this together with Wim from 12, 13, 14 years old, and just trying out and seeing what works, what gives ourselves more energy, more focus, more aliveness, but also activating this dopamine, serotonin, all these beautiful natural drugs we've got inside. We've got this beautiful inner drugstore. Just have to find your own way back to this inner drugstore. You don't have to go to the drugstore outside anymore. It's all there. So it's again this autonomy. And we've got all these possibilities, but at the moment we are becoming aware of it by using this breath, trying out this breath. You feel this abundance. It's all in your body. It's all there. You can find it back. So it's just trying out. So we need some trust, and then it's sometimes nice that there is somebody outside who can remember to yourself to all the possibilities we've got all inside. So that's the way we tried out, and I learned it from Wim, and Wim learned it somewhere else again. So it's a kind of how do you say it? Giving it over, giving the energy over, giving the knowledge over, but it's an inner knowledge. It's not a mind knowledge, it's an inner knowing by trying out. Just like the people you see now the Eastern and Western science coming together. The Eastern science was more about self-knowledge. The Western science was more outside knowledge, scientific knowledge. Now it comes together, and they see what they knew already for thousands and thousands of years is its effect. They can now, but finally, they can show it also as a scientific fact. So it's coming together, these possibilities, and that's a beautiful thing. We did it already from the beginning, and we knew it from inside out. But it's now time that we can give over this inner knowledge to everybody, and recognizing and remembering each other that we are all autonomous. We've got all this power, we've got this all autonomy. We don't need an external government, people, external knowledge anymore, because it's all there and it's coming from the heart. It's coming from this love, from who we are. And from there, we can come together in creation, in love, in freedom, in joy, but in freedom, absolutely. So that's the
Well, the
way I learn.
breathe. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally. And like the freedom to breathe being your first freedom, and not having anybody try and come in the way between you and your breath and violate that sacred relationship. Because why would you, unless you did not love yourself and you did not love life, why would you cut yourself off from the very life force itself, your breath?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? So that's the thing, isn't it? Health and life and vitality, it starts with receiving the oxygen, receiving that prana into the body. And the way I describe it is like, when I watch it, it's like the breath comes, or this oxygen comes, this consciousness, this conscious life energy. I watch it, and it's like it kisses us on the lips. And then it goes down, strokes us on the inside, and then it kisses every tiny little cell and every particle into life again and again and again and again and again and again. It's like we're literally kissed into life and loved into life and stroked by this incredibly soft yet supremely powerful energy that we just call breathing. And it's
Beautiful,
everything.
beautifully expressed, a kiss of life. I will remember that one.
It's everything, isn't it? It's everything. If we want to feel loved and we want to feel alive and we want to feel healthy, then step one,
Yeah.
breathe. Step one.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
being
rocket science.
conscious of it. If you don't know it, if you don't see it, it's not there in a way. So we have to be aware of it. And if you say it like this, you are aware, you can recognize it, you can acknowledge it, you can see it, and then you can experience it also and feel it like this. And that's the beauty. We have to see the greatness of it and be grateful for it.
Absolutely. Because it, like you said, yeah, it is abundance itself. You're an entire little universe of abundance inside of you. And
Yeah.
you do have to have, you have to open your eyes inside to see that. You have to
Yeah.
have, this, don't you? Super full. Like you're so full, like you said, you don't even need to eat food because you're full on that energy and full on that beautiful abundance and gratitude.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's all there and it's always there. But at this moment, you go back to this indoctrination, this hypnosis, and see things in a division. Then you feel this division.
It's very easy to make a change, though, isn't it? I mean, people literally, you can change one breath at a time. And when you were talking about change earlier, and that people want change, but they don't want to make the change, and that everything changes, the first thing I thought about was your breath. It's like you cannot hold onto your breath and expect to live. It's always moving constantly, constantly. It has to stay flowing into form and out of form. That's what you spoke about, form and flow. So we are form and we are flow. And here it is, that breath is coming into form and out of form and constantly flowing. And so what makes it really easy for people, instead of kind of getting up here and going, how am I going to change? I've got all this stuff I want to change, but I don't know if I can do it, and I don't know how to do it, and I'm scared to do it because I'm so used to not change. It's like literally all you have to do is do what Marcel says and breathe. Just take a breath and then start getting into that beautiful rhythm and flow of that breath and be in that change, constantly changing living energy. Receive it into your body and you start to feel amazing. And before you know it, you start healing and you haven't had to really do anything.
No,
People
true.
start healing.
It's more being than doing something, because we are already that what we are. We always have been that same thing, this life force. So instead of just allowing this life force coming in ourselves and transforming everything around us, that's the beauty, and seeing it, this natural thing. So it's very, very beautiful to acknowledge this. And that's the real healing. Just acknowledging who we really are is the healing.
Yeah.
Seeing it as
And
a whole.
Do you do breathing with people? Because I'm just imagining here, wouldn't it be cool if you could just switch you on in the morning, or I'll come to Amsterdam, I'll come to Holland. When I can come to Holland, I'm going to come, and I'll come with Chrissy and we'll come with the friends. But I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if you could I could just put you on my Zoom in the morning, and I could do my breathing exercises with Marcel's, because then I won't get slack and lazy and forget.
We did it when we were in New Zealand. We did it for a certain time, almost every morning, like half an hour or 3/4 of an hour, with a beautiful heart meditation or quantum hypnosis. We began with breathing, and I was using the drum also, and using some trance and the drum to get people in a trance. It's easier to surrender, to let go, and just let breathing do its work. So we were doing this breathing exercise like 20 or 30 days. And then it's good if you do it like a long time after each other, you can go deeper and deeper and surrender more easy, because sometimes the mind comes in between. And just surrendering to whatever happens. I always say, I give them some instructions when people are breathing. First, some explanation, then people give themselves over to the breathing exercises. And at the same time, I lead them like a kind of meditation through the breathing, and let them see whatever comes up, comes up. That's part of life. Just acknowledge it and keep your focus on the breathing. And people can go easily deeper and deeper. So it's possible. I did it online. I did it with lots of people already, but also with big groups, like 200 or 300 people. But if we do it live and we go deeper and we go longer, sometimes extreme things can come up, all trauma.
You need a lot of helpers.
Yeah, and then it's good to have people alive go to them, because they need some acknowledgement, and sometimes a hand on their legs or whatever, to get them grounded, to let the energy go, which is sometimes too much. But most of the time when we do the breathing online, it's also possible. Then it's good to do it mostly with two, because then if something comes up and it becomes too extreme, you can help each other. And
I'm getting a vision. I'm getting a vision, Marcel. I'm getting a vision of centers, and maybe it's just yours or with your brothers or whatever. I'm getting a vision of like the Hof breathing method all over the world. So people can come to a beautiful center and actually just come to you or one of your trained people, and that there's a place where people can come to all over the world to do that. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I don't know if that's in your vision, but I'm like, I've got that vision coming to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like to, and Wim is doing that already with his method, but it's in a way the same. But it's all about autonomy, and in whatever you call it, it doesn't matter if it helps people and get them themselves back to themselves, to their autonomy, to their real power. I would love to, because it's for me at the same time my way of expressing my love for life itself, for the people itself, and helping them to get back to their own inner knowing and their innate knowledge. That's beautiful, because if somebody is waking up, he's myself, my love itself, waking up at the same time. So it's the synergy which is going on. That's the way. If there is a virus, this is this virus of waking up really to the real love, the real authentic power we all are. And it's a very important moment to bring this back, because it's not only the mental thing, it's not only the spiritual thing, but it's also this power we need now, because now internationally and worldly, this pandemic, more pandemic is going on. Whatever is going on, but this manipulation in which they want make us even more dependent, because all the money is going now more and more to a little group, and everything in between is becoming more dependent of them. But we even don't need this money anymore, because it's also an illusion. I have to put
we can just help each other, can't we? Like, if we don't have money, what do? It actually kind of really forces people to come together and start working together again.
Yeah,
which is kind of a cool thing, you know. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. The secondary thing of this whole thing which is going on is we have to help each other and awaken each other, and we need each other in that way to become awake again, because awaken to our own real spirit, instead of what is now we lived a long time in this illusion. We needed all this money and all these things, etc., etc. But more and more we become aware, what do you really need? What do you really need? And that's, in a way, yeah, only yourself, only this self-love, only this love for yourself, and this living being, which we all are. And there, seeing the beauty in everybody, seeing the beauty in you, you see the beauty in me, and so recognizing each other in this beautiful life force, because that's the real beauty. If you don't see that, it makes everything worthless. So the real worth is not in the money,
Right.
it's not in the things, in all the things you have, but it is in this seeing who we are. That is the real worth. That is the real currency. That's the only currency that really exists.
Absolutely. So, I got goose pimples all over my arms. I just agree with you. And you know, for me, when I as I've learned to love myself, because I've always loved everything and everybody. I've just, you know, even people would say, you know, but do you love Hitler? And I'd be like, yeah, I love, like, as a teenager, I was like, of course, he's a human being, he's a soul, like we're all together. I'm like, you know, little like you when you started 13, 14. I love everyone, you know, but it took me a long time to actually start to love myself. And what I realized, right, because it's the last place we look. It's the we're trained out here and not this way. So anyway, it took me a long time to love myself, but when I did, it's like the more I love myself, the more I actually embody the love that I actually am. It's like I'm just cleaning off the dust of what's not me and realizing more and more that which I actually am, which is unconditional love. So it's that self-love becomes love embodiment, love actualization, love self-actualization.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a powerful tonic, isn't it? You know, whether you get there through I think love is all of these things. It's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. It's on every dimension. Love penetrates every dimension. So it's not just one or the other. It's every aspect of yourself, your being, your life, your frequency. And to embody love in all of those different dimensions of oneself, it's like you become this absolute love bomb, a potent little love bomb. And it's like you could be like a drop of domestos in like a dirty drain or something. You just be like this one pure little powerful drop that just disperses all the crap.
Yeah, it's a beautiful allegory, and yeah. I see the picture already. Absolutely.
I'm painting in your mind. So basically, more people need to love themselves, and then we just love bomb all the dirt, and it's happening. Actually, I have to say it's happening, but we could definitely do with a lot more on this planet.
No, absolutely. I see this as just a little light. You see how much a little light can lighten up all the darkness, and the real self-love is like a little light. Lots of space can be very dark, but just a little light comes in and everything enlightens. And that is the beauty of love also. It's so powerful, it goes through all the walls, which all the personalities. So it's very simple, but so powerful. And at the same time, we know, we recognize each other in our deepest part. There we recognize all that we are all the same. And we express ourselves in these different forms in a different way. But at the same time, we really recognize each other in this deep, deep part, which is the self-love, which is for everybody the same. That's it's from such a beauty, such a greatness. There you can be grateful, and you are great at the same time. Full of greatness and grateful. Full of greatness and grateful.
So Marcel, tell us, people can find you on your website, marcelhof.com. And like, what can people learn from you? What they get when they come visit your website or they connect with you? What can people learn from you?
Yeah, good question. Self-love, loving themselves, loving life, but at the same time, we use in our forms like the breathing exercises, going into the cold, so making themselves physically independent from medical industry and all the bullshit, making themselves mentally independent from all these governments, etc., because you come back to your innate knowledge, making yourself spiritually independent, which you always were, but acknowledging this and seeing this and using all the forms we use, and that's the call, that's breathing, and that's hypnosis, and that's trance, and my voice also, getting people in trance, getting their cells back to their cells, their own heart, living from this unity, and recognizing this from experience, not only mentally, but from experience, so they can experience the real man or woman he or she is. And that's the most important part. We give people back to themselves, and that's what we want to bring, because that's what we acknowledge, and that is what we found out, and that is the most important thing. And I knew it already more from when I was very young, but now these forms become more clear. We all these forms are bringing ourselves back to the center, which we all are. You will recognize it during these exercises. It brings you all back. They are also kind of say it, the ceremonies. Everything in life I see as a ceremony to bring yourself back to your heart, to yourself, love, to life itself, where we know. And then if you find this back, you get this insight, even if it is a second, then you know again why you are here, who you are, and from there you can see all the beauty around you, because then you've got the real glasses. You put out all the glasses, then you live from this unity, and that's what they can learn. Where, yeah, well, I've got marcelhofmethod.com. I'm horrible with commercial things. I'm writing a book. It's almost finished. I don't know yet how I'm going to call it, Diving Deeper or whatever, but it's also about the Hof method, what I learned from Wim together with my brothers, but also what I learned together with Anita, my partner, and bringing all these forms back to this simple thing, living from the heart, from this unity. So that's the most important thing we want to bring to everybody, is ourselves, is our heart.
Oh, I look forward to your book coming out. That's wonderful news. And you've got a bunch of programs. I looked on your website. You've got a bunch of programs that people can sign up for and do, haven't you? And breathing and stuff. In fact, I'm going to do one of those. Definitely. I'm going to do it with my partner and just put more oxygen, because we actually, both of us, we weren't together in January last year when this started, but individually we both got this bad flu on our chest, and it feels like having dampness in the chest. It was like water in the lungs. And I know so many people all around the world in different countries that had this at the same time. You know, it's like this horrible flu. It took me about, and I hardly ever get sick as well, Marcel. So I was a bit knocked. I was a bit knocked. But it was the night I'd been out. It was a New Year's Eve the night before, and I'd been out standing outside in the freezing cold, chatting away 2 in the morning in a little dress. So I'm not surprised. It was freezing, and I was silly. I got myself run down. But anyway, I wasn't used to that happening. But it did take me about 3 weeks to recover. And I've noticed, like, actually, and I'm really aware of my breath. I spend a lot of time being with my beautiful breath. But I'm like, I feel there's such a value as well in what you're sharing and what you're teaching, that I also want to learn that as well and put that into a practice with my partner. So I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I definitely encourage other people to go have a look at your website and go check out those programs and get involved. And, I can't wait till you're actually running like a retreat or a 30 days with Marcel breathing and doing yoga. That's going to be, I bet that is going to be absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to keep checking your website, and I encourage everyone to do this, to find out when you can start having your live things that you do again with people.
Yeah, we when things are opening up again, and all these borders, that would be great. I think it's a good thing as an inspiration, maybe do something like here in Europe. We did it in Bali, like 30 days, every day going deeper, so people could go experience this for 30 days. My 30 years of experience in 30 days. Maybe it would be nice, something like in 10 days. But I think you can learn the basis, the most important things, just in a week or in 10 days.
Hey, you know what, Marcel, stick to Bali, because I run a retreat in Bali as well. That's soul reading. I teach people how to get in touch with their inner senses and learn to read energy, and I call it soul reading. But I run, so maybe we could do the two together. They could do breathing with you.
Absolutely.
We'll do it in Bali because Bali's gorgeous, but of course we're both in Europe, so perhaps something opens up and anyway, there's so much room. I'm really excited about what you do. I think you're a fabulous person, you and your partner and your whole family actually. So thank you to all of the Hofs for bringing this through in all your jumping in the ice and playing around as kids. And of course you discover, that's how we discover the genius things, right? The child within us is the genius. And so through play, we discover our soul purpose. That's just how it works. So I love that image now I've got of all the Hof family and the Hof brothers jumping in the ice cold, learning how to playing with the breath and coming up with this amazing teaching that's going out to all corners of the world. I'm super, super grateful. So on behalf of everybody that's experienced that, I want to extend my gratitude to you and to Wim and to the rest of your family. And yeah, can't wait to get to actually meet you in real life and do some cool things.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I was just going to say, any final words? Sorry.
Final words. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But at the same time, thank you for these beautiful words. And I just acknowledge who we all are. We are the self-love. The child in you is the child in me, is the child in everybody. Is this love, being love, and this life force expressing itself and making this simple again and easy and beautiful, this experience on earth. That's the thing why we are here, and making something beautiful, that's energy, instead of all this bullshit which is going on now. It's time to change from the mind to the heart. And I hope we can do it as soon as possible together with lots and lots of people.
That would be super, super fun. Yeah. Thank you, Marcel. Absolute love to you. And just quickly for our viewers here, I do have a self-love program. It's very, very simple. It's called Self-Love Club. I've got lots of programs and practitioner trainings and everything. But right now, the best thing you can do, if you're interested in learning more about what I do in self-love, go and check out Self-Love Club on my website, taraloveperry.com. And I'll put the link below, and I'll put Marcel's links below. And perhaps, but we'll both see you. We'll both see you and connect with you at some point.
Yeah, it would be great to connect and to make this energy and see what happened. Absolutely. Love to.
Big love to you, Marcel.
Thank you. Bye,
see
Tara.
You next time, my friend. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.